At Awakened Radio Network, we're all about success. We know that working together is the perfect way for all of us to live the success lifestyle. That's what it is. It's a lifestyle. And to help our listeners move into 2014 knowing that they can live this life, we're opening up our airwaves to some of the best lifestyle teachers anywhere in the world. A day-long event where you, as the speaker, are spotlighted by our station manager, Donna Devane, the Barefoot Guru, who knows how to guide you to your best sharing. Check out our website and get all the details at awakenedradio.net. Look on the tab where it says Success 2014. Perhaps you and your message would be perfect for our December 1st, 2013 speaker event, where we give people the tools to do more than wish. We empower them to live success. I'd like to invite you to add Awakened Radio to your Skype or email Donna Devane at awakenedradio@gmail.com to find out more about this 9-hour speaker event. Let Donna Devane help you share your message of healing, personal empowerment, success, whatever it is that you're passionate about. This is the perfect opportunity for you to share with our listeners all around the world, December 1st, 2013, where we help people to do more than wish. We're going to give them the tools to live a success. Join us, Awakened Radio at awakenedradio.net.
Hello and welcome to Evolutionary Women Radio Show with Pernilla Lillerose, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Hello everyone, and welcome to Evolutionary Women Radio. This is your host, Pernilla Lillerose, on a Tuesday morning. And I don't know if you heard that little noise while the announcements were on. I thought somebody was sneezing, and it turns out there is a bird in the station. Not where I am, but on Donna's station. And I just had to laugh. Hey, why not bring in the birds and the animals? Let's just have a great party of all the evolved beings. So let's just welcome the bird. If he's still here. Oh, I think you moved him, Donna. I have to laugh. It's so casual and down to earth and just like family here, and that's really what I enjoy. It's not one of those very fancy shows where you have to, be different than you are. It's really, as you know by now, we all just want to be ourselves. We want to just be who we are and allow each other to be that too. So whether that includes the birds in the station or not, hey, it's all good in my view. So welcome, and as always, I would like to invite you to connect with me during the show. You can always chat with me. You can just go to the chat room, which is awakenedradio.net/live chat room. And you can just come in and say hi. It's safe, and I would love to hear from you. If you just want to say hello or how are you, that makes me happy. So feel free to do that. And also, if you would like to call in, if you have any questions or comments during the show, I would love to hear from you. The number to call in is 334-649-7204. And you know, it is really nice, and I really mean it. You are very, very welcome. I always am so happy when some of you call in and just share what's going on with you, how the show is either touching you or bringing up questions or concerns or something you want to check out. That's why I'm here. I'm not just here to talk on my own. I really love to engage. So I want to make sure that you know you are very, very welcome. So the number again is 334-649-7204. And you can always connect with me also on the forum. here on awakenedradio.net, there is a forum in one of the menus, and I always write a little bit before the show. There's a little thing about what the show is going to be about here, and there is room to reply, so you're very welcome to connect with me there. Or you can also always go to my website, which is LillaRose.com, spelled LILLAROSE.com. And you can just you can connect with me there. You can go to the blog, leave a message. You can just go to the contact page. So you can see I'm doing everything I can to make open doors for us to connect, because that's what it's all about right now. We want to stay connected with each other. I find it really, really important that we as women, men, friends, community, neighborhoods, I think it's really, really important that we stay connected and create new connections so that we are more living in oneness, in community, and get out of that isolation that we have been living in for so long. That's part of the old paradigm, as far as I can see, where we have to be able to do it all on our own, and we isolate ourselves, and we don't think it's okay to ask for help. We're so afraid that nobody wants to help us or listen to us, or, why would they bother connecting with me, or I'm a burden. There's all these old beliefs that are simply part of the old paradigm. And as you know, we are not part of that anymore. It may still be around us. A lot of people are still identified with that. And bless their hearts, let's pray for them that they also can wake up to who they are and start realizing the oneness inside and out, that we are one, that we are in this together as one. And the more we can start living that through connecting with each other, the sooner and easier we can create the world that we long for in our heart. And I know I'm not the only one. I want this in my life. I want to live on a planet, or let's just make it smaller, in a community where we know each other, where we support each other, where we love each other, where we can do things together to create something beautiful that we all can enjoy, that we all can benefit from. Something that's sustainable, something that is not just for me, but is for all of us. That's my vision, that we can do that. And of course, that's why I'm doing all the things that I am doing, to bring that awareness to more and more people. And those who really click with that and resonate with that, you'll feel it in your body as a yes, as an expansion, as a light, something that tells you, yes, I want this too. And then it's just a matter of finding out how. I would say most of us don't really have the answer to how, like in how to make it all happen. But that's okay. We don't need to. We just need to keep following the biggest movement, the biggest longing, the biggest yes inside of us. So it's a step by step process, moving from the old paradigm into the new that is not really here yet as manifest. If the energies are here, the manifestation is up to us. But it requires us all first to say no and close the door to the old paradigm. Then we can start moving forward into the unknown, into the new, and start tuning into these new energies. And we do it inside of ourselves, and we do it with each other. When we start sharing what is inside of us, what's in our heart, with each other, then we will all be ignited by that and inspired. And then we can create more of that. You see, we're not meant to do it on our own. I think it's a very old concept also in the spiritual circles. I have to do it on my own, and there's only me here. And yeah, and that is all true. That's one aspect of it. I'm not denying that. Of course that's true. But it's not the whole story, because everything around me is also me. It's not a separate thing. I'm also you. I'm also the earth. I'm the planet. I'm the ocean. I'm everywhere. I'm all of it. And when I say it like this, don't have that as a full realization all the time by any means. But I have sensed it enough inside of me to know that that is so. And that's why I can choose to start living as that. And to start making that what motivates me, If I know that when I look around my life, I see myself, right? If I see somebody suffering, that is me too. And I will do whatever I can, that what's in my power, to support and help that person to get out of suffering. Not by enabling. That's not helping. But by supporting them and finding that in themselves, and supporting them in finding what it is that they need to start creating the life that resonates inside of them, in their heart. So that's a little bit about the oneness and the moving from the old into the new. Today I want to talk about saying no. Let's see what I put as the title for today is saying no and mean it. Just think about that for a moment, because we often say no to something, but how deep can you feel that no in your body, in your gut, in your essence? Is it just a superficial no? That means that if somebody disagrees with you when you say no, you may change your mind right away in order to fit in, or to please, or to be loved. And I know we're all guilty of that. I certainly have been, and I can still sometimes, if I have to be really honest, I can still sometimes feel the old tendency to do that. Luckily, I have grown enough inside of my body to feel and embody that no, that even though I might make a little bit of a side trip away from that, I catch myself really soon. And then I come right back, and then I just honor this felt sense in my body that says no. That kind of no is what we need in order to move from the old into the new. If we don't consciously say no to all the things in the world that we know are not right. And I wouldn't say quote unquote right. I don't mean as in right, wrong from a sense of duality in the mind. I mean it as a sense that you feel inside of your body. It's a sense of, no, something is not right here. It's not in resonance with what I know is true. And that's that resounding yes. When you sense into what you know is true, it's also something you feel in the body. And I think it's very, very important that we start strengthening that knowing in our bodies. Because the world is spinning the world is going mad. I don't think I need to say that. When you look around, what's going on with our planet, with the waters, I read an article the other day that somebody was sailing across a big ocean that he's done many, many times, and it used to be filled with fish and birds and simply life. The ocean was alive. He said there was barely any life left. It was eerie. Right? These are things that are happening in the world. The food, the way the food is being handled, all the issues with the GMO, which is causing so many problems, the sex trafficking with young girls. I mean, I can go on and on and on. You don't need to look far to see that the world has gone mad. But we are, and yeah, I'm going to say we are not the world. I mean, we are the world, but we are not the madness of the world. We can create a gap between that madness and who we truly are. And when we do that, you turn your attention back on yourself. And you sense into your body and your being, or your belly and your chest, simply the place inside that knows. And you start listening to that. From in there, you will know if this is right, if this is in alignment with your core values, with your heart, with your wisdom. We need to go there. It's so important that we go only there, and that we do not get lost in the world. And it's very easy to get lost in the world if you have not deeply connected with your center, with your essence. So one way to connect with that essence is really to start listening to what is true here. Is it really true? Is it right? Is it okay that the ocean is so polluted, that the wildlife in there is dying? And of course it's not right. You don't need to be some rocket scientist to see that. It's something you know in your gut, in your being. And I know I'm stating the obvious here, but you know, the truth is that most of us still turn away from that. And then we just try to find other means to survive, or to find food that is good. But what good does that do? Because it's all going to run out unless we listen to this other part in us that knows that things can be different. That simply have a vision inside of something that is healthy, that is loving, that is supportive, that is expansive and kind and gentle and supportive of the whole. It's sustainable. You don't need to go far to find that, do you? I think we all have access to that really, really strongly, as long as we go there and connect with that. But not just for a fleeting moment. Go there a lot. Go inside a lot. And, I see there's a little hello here. Hello, Teresa. Thank you so much for saying hello. I love having you here. Thank you so much. Makes me very happy. And I know you're just so on board with all of this. And that makes me happy, that to connect with you and to connect with all of you who are on the broadcast today, to connect with you so we can start bringing this knowing that we have inside more out, and we can support each other in trusting that more. So let's say you have this clear no inside. You know that you know it might be something on your street, it might even be something in your house or in your community, where every time you see it or hear it, it could even be if you're watching TV or read it on the web. Inside of you go like, no, this is not okay. It's a no. It's a clear no. So my question is, what do you do with that? How do you be with that? Can you really embrace that? Can you embody that no? Can you let yourself feel that no? and the power of it, the energy behind it. Maybe we can just do that right now for a moment. If there's something in your life, and it could be further away. It could be the whole, let's say, the sex trafficking, which actually is going on here in our country too. But you go to Thailand, to India, there's a lot of that where they're being shipped over here probably. And I mean, this is really something that really makes my heart so sad, because these beautiful young girls, their lives are being completely ruined. And I can't imagine anybody thinking that's right or saying yes to that. I would imagine we all feel a big, strong no, that's not okay. But because we often feel helpless or don't know what to do about it, we just focus on something else. So we kind of push that no away. We just put it to the side and start getting involved with other things. What would be more helpful is that you actually really listen to this no, because this no comes from a much deeper place. It's not something that you need to solve on your own. It's the universal evolutionary process that's moving through you, through me, as you, as me. And if we ignore that, we're actually cutting ourselves off from this evolutionary process that is happening. It is happening. We can't stop it. It's happening. It's here. The question is, are we willing to go with that flow? Or do we want to stay separate and go back to our old ways, the old paradigm ways, and just care about our own survival and safety and security? It's not what it's about anymore. You can say maybe that's what it was about, for a long time, because somehow we all bought into that. But it's not like that anymore. It's different, and we need to acknowledge that. So when you feel a no like that in your body, a clear, crisp no, and it's very powerful, it's actually very empowering to really embrace this sense of no. But if we doubt it or start arguing with it, what happens then is that we shut it off, and we do not reap the benefits of the energy that this no brings. Let me say that again. If you doubt it or ignore it or argue with this sense of no, you're cutting it off, and you are not able to experience or reap the benefits of the energy of this no, of this energy of no. It's an energy that you can feel in your body. So then it doesn't get to, you don't become an outlet for a change in the world. You basically cut yourself off from your own evolutionary process to start becoming a whole new human being, a new citizen of a new world that does not accept or feed or engage with that kind of behavior anymore that this energy says no to. That's kind of what's happening to us now. We're being filled with this new energy, and it's up to you and me to answer it, to respond to it in a positive way by going along with it. So it's learning to cultivate the feeling of no. It's a feeling, it's an energy that you feel in your body. It's not just your mind saying no and then you go on to your next thing. You need to drop into your body and start feeling this no. So then to go back to the title of this broadcast today, which is Saying No and Mean It. You see, when you embody it, when you feel it and you embrace it, then you mean it. Then it's alive in you because you're embodying this energy that wants your attention. Otherwise it wouldn't be there. It's not a mistake that we feel this sense of no to so many things in the world. It's really, really important that we embrace that. And I know there can often be a confusion between saying no and resisting something. And I want to really point out that there's a huge difference between the two. When you resist something, you're putting a lot of energy into something you don't want. You see, just try make a fist right now. Make a fist. And that fist is kind of a representation of not wanting something, right? It's resisting something. It says, no. But you're not allowing the energy of this no to fulfill itself. You're just stuck in the resistance of it, in the resisting of this thing that you don't want. So let's say it is maybe the oceans that are so polluted, if you feel this no, but then if you get angry and you start, like, you shouldn't do that, and no, blaming others, you're stuck in a negative energy. And all this energy does is feed what you don't want. So you're actually keeping it alive instead of being that energy of no that will do something about it, that will cut the cord, that will say enough. But it's different than resisting it. And I want to make sure you really get this today. So if anybody has a question around it or something or sharing, feel free to connect with me, because it's really essential that you get the difference. Because most people, they're just resisting, right? They watch the news, they read the newspaper, they listen to the radio or the web, whatever we do, and then it just brings up, initially they feel this no, but then it turns into a resistance and blaming, and that this is wrong, and yeah, it is wrong, it's not supposed to be like that, but the energy needs to have an outlet to create something new, to break through that old pattern. And that's why we need to really listen to that and not get stuck in just resisting. Believe me, if you just resist it with your energy, blaming, being angry, all you do is keep it alive. You're actually giving energy to it. And it may sound weird, but when you really feel into that in yourself and feel when you're resisting something, just notice how much of your energy goes into this issue, right? And you know that you create with your thoughts and your feelings, right? And what you put attention on. So if you're in resistance to something, you are the creator of it. It is that simple. So we want to start seeing the difference between resisting and saying no. And it looks like we are going to go on a break here in just a moment, so we can talk more about it after the break. In the meantime, I still would invite you to call in if you're moved to. You can call in at 334-649-7204. And you can always go to my website, which is lilarose.com, and browse around, see if there's anything there that might support you in your process. I have a lot of goodies there that I offer as support. And the main one is maybe to sign up for a free 30-minute discovery session with me. But let's just go on a little break here, and then we'll be back and talking more about saying no and versus resisting. Right. Open, showing our inside and light so bright. We are awakened.
Thank you so much for listening to the Awakened Radio Network. Our website is awakenedradio.net, where you will find information on how to share your message with the whole wide world. Consider being an Awakened Radio host. We provide support, produce for you, help you get listeners. We provide archives for you. We even provide a forum and a host page so that you and us working together can reach the world with whatever it is that you're passionate about. Thank you so much for your consideration. Add Awakened Radio to your Skype. Send Donna Devane a typed message, and she'll get back with you ASAP to arrange a phone call conversation. Have you checked out the new magazine, Thrive Evolutionary Consciousness? Yep. You can submit your article, your poetry, or even your artwork to our new magazine, Thrive Evolutionary Magazine. Reach out to us by visiting our website at awakenedradio.net. Look at the top where it says Thrive Evolutionary Consciousness, and you'll find all the information there that you need to discover how to submit your articles, poetry, or artwork. And we always give something back. We'll hyperlink to the page, the URL of your choice. Let's work together with that Thrival Energy Consciousness for a win-win for everyone. The Awakened Radio Network is more than just a radio station. We're a community, people who care about one another, who support one another, inspire, inform, and motivate one another, lifting us all up to our highest expression. Join us, take part in our conversations at our free chat room, awakenedradio.net/live chat room. We also have forums where you can interact with our host. We love to get feedback from you. Check us out as well on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Awakened Radio. I look forward to interacting with you.
Welcome back to Evolutionary Women Radio, where authentic feminine power is making a difference in the world. Thank you for joining and listening. This is your host, Pernilla Little Rose, and this show is brought to you by Women Standing for Love. Welcome back. Welcome back from the break, my friends. This is Pernilla Little Rose, your host today. And we are talking about saying no and meaning it. You know, as I was just sitting here contemplating in the break, and it's just amazing that we actually need to to listen to what our body is telling us. It just dawned on me how far away we have moved from our own wisdom and our own knowing. It's just mind-blowing. And I know I certainly have done it myself and have come pretty close to home, but I'm not home all the time yet. And it really shows how we have been pulled away. And maybe more as women, but I don't even know that's true. I think men and women, we've done it in a different way. But as women, for us to say no and mean it in a male-dominated world, we need to be very firm and almost angry. I mean, it's almost like you have to come with an energy, because when we say no, at least in my experience, I have been so used in the past that when I say no, that it was not accepted. And I also grew up in that energy that, you know, I had a pretty unkind childhood in that sense, where what I said was completely not valued. So, of course, I took that on as a belief that, you know, what I have to say, nobody cares about that. So I had to work through that for a long time. And and still do. I can still feel the tendency to go there, even though that's not my preferred place to hang out anymore. But it just shows that we have moved away, and because when we have said no, it has not been validated or accepted or acknowledged. And because of that, then we kind of start doubting it. And then instead of staying true to what is true for us, we have accommodated those who didn't agree with us. So I know it's a journey we're on, and it takes time to really learn the language of the body again. But when you do, it's so obvious, my friends. It's so obvious. I mean, I cannot get away from the slightest movement away from my body because it's instant feedback. And I know that there's a lot of you here who have that same experience. It's instant feedback. The problem is, do we trust it, or is there still a tendency in there to cut it off and then go with what others say? That's I think the challenge that we have, that there's a tendency to cut ourselves off if we're not in an environment that supports our truth. And of course, that is why I want to have women connect with each other, so we can support each other, so that when I say no, that's not okay with me, that instead of being like, oh, come on, Pernilla, everybody's doing it, or who do you think you are, or whatever it is that we've heard out there, you're too sensitive, you're too much, you're too demanding, blah 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 blah. Instead, if I'm in an environment where women and men, I hope certainly men too, but it is safe to do it with women first, for a lot of us, but not necessarily something we have to do. But just imagine that you're in a circle of friends, and they say, yes, and what you're feeling is right, and that's great, and trust that, and I want to support you in that, right? If you had grown up in that kind of an environment, you would not be doubting your no or your body. You would just say, yes, of course, and you would go with that. And that's what I would like us to get back to, where we actually can just trust it in the moment, that we don't have to go through the whole thing about judging ourselves or arguing or doubting it. It's like, no, it's a no, and that's it. No argument. It's strong in my body. I can feel it. I don't need to have a mental understanding of it right now. This sign of no is strong, and I'm going to go with it. Bingo. And then you move with the no. It goes into the world, and it's clear, it's clean, and it kind of cuts through. It cuts through the BS, and it just does it. It's like a clean cut, and then it's over. It's no judging, no arguing, no defending. It's like, it's just a no. Period. No more to be said. And that's really, really powerful. So here's just a little chat from Teresa. Let me just read that. Thank you, Teresa, by the way. I love it to hear from you here. As you're speaking, Pernilla, I can see that my no to being in stress of the work I'm doing in daily life, I don't listen completely to it yet. Yes, I live more in resistance, and I see the doubt of trusting it. It's good for me to look at. That's so great, Teresa. Thank you for sharing that. This is very, very common for most of us. So you can see the difference between saying no and going with it, and then resisting it, right? The resistance doesn't take you anywhere, except it makes you stressed, it makes you tired, because you put a lot of energy into something that goes absolutely nowhere. But if you start listening, you can just take time and just feel the no. If there's stress at your work, you feel your whole body is saying no to it. Instead of arguing with it, you just sit down and feel it, and you start listening to it and find out, well, what is really true here? Why do I feel this no in me? Instead of arguing with it, resisting it, you sit down and you make it your friend. You listen to it. It's powerful, very powerful. And then little by little you start trusting it more, and you find out, well, how can we do it differently? What can I tell my boss? Can I say this? Can I tell them that, it would be good for me to do it this way? Or you might have a great idea that comes out of the no. And then you start following that. And yes, it might be a little scary in the beginning, of course, because you're going against the grain. You're going against what other people do and say and want you to do. So yes, it is scary. Don't expect it's going to be totally easy in the beginning. I mean, you can expect it. That's great. But if it isn't, don't let that take you down. Just keep listening, and until you feel strong in your yes. That's really what it is. Or strong in your no, whatever it is. It's just learn to become strong in it. And what happens is, this is something I have seen in my life so many times, and when I work with my clients and my students. When you are done with something, when you simply feel inside, you know what? I've had it. I've done it for so many years. It hasn't taken me anywhere except giving me stress. So you start really feeling what happens when you do not listen to this no. And then at a certain point, and suddenly you'll notice, like, you know what? I don't want to do that anymore. And it's very, very powerful, but it's actually not a big deal. It's almost like that whole energy has completed itself. It's come to the end. And you feel done. It's like, it's like eating a meal. You're full. You just can't take one more bite. When you get to that place, oh my God, you're so blessed because you're done. You don't have to do it anymore. You just have to say no next time. And maybe you have to say no with a little bit of an edge if people want to keep pulling you in. And I can tell you, one of my own experience in the past was in a relationship where I kept being pulled in to getting into an argument of defending myself. And because this other person had this it was very important to be right all the time and make me wrong. And that was part of my pattern. That was what I grew up with. So I could see that I attracted that back into my life to be free from it, right? So there's no blaming. But I could see, I kept seeing how I got pulled into defending myself. And I want to say it was the last thing I wanted to do. But I kept doing it. So I had to look deeper. I had to find out, why do I let myself get pulled in? Because I'm doing this. I would say, no, I don't want to do this. And then this person would say something in a way that I got triggered, and then I would defend myself because it was almost like I was being made wrong for saying no. And trust me, that will happen, That will happen. So every time I was being made wrong for saying no to something that was not true, I would get pulled in again by not having somebody acknowledge it, right? And I could start seeing that pattern because it had been a very unconscious pattern in me. And I started seeing it. I became more and more clear, and I got stronger and stronger, and suddenly I was done. And it was a feeling, it was a felt sense in my body. I was just done. So that now, if somebody wants to argue with me, if I say something like, this is not right for me, or, whatever it is, and somebody wants to make me wrong or pull me into an argument, I have been known to say more than once something like, I just don't go there anymore. Or I'm not going to go there with you. Or I just don't enjoy arguing anymore, so I stopped doing it. And what often happens is, because these people may still be identified with arguing and thinking that's the only way they can get it their way, They may want to pull you in, and they're going to bring out new tools to bring you in, to convince you that you're wrong, that you should argue with them. I mean, that's not the words they use, but there's an energy like, where you almost feel guilty if you don't. I've been there. And that would pull me in again, I didn't want to feel guilty. So I learned to just stay true and say, yeah, I hear you, and I'm just not going to go there with you. Or it's just, I have no interest. I don't have the pull anymore. But I'm happy to, talk about something else, that what we can do instead, or what might work better. So then you're moving into a new direction of something that you want, you see. So then that's when you say no to something very clearly and mean it, you open up a door, or actually you break down the wall that has been keeping your yes imprisoned. So the no breaks down these old stifled walls, energetic walls. The no cuts through clearly. And that's why it's so important to listen to this no inside and not resist it. When you resist the no, you get into an argument and a justification and the defending yourself. It's all happening inside of you. And lo and behold, you'll probably see it manifest in your life. So it's your internal argument with yourself and your resistance inside. It just gets manifested on the outside. So the more clear you get inside, the less you will experience it on the outside of that arguing or that resistance. So I hope it's clear that you can start getting the difference between really saying a clear no and mean it. And then instead of arguing with it and resisting it. And when you do that, it's like you have this sword and it just goes whoosh, it just cuts through, bang. And then the door is open. You're not arguing, you're not trying to close the door again by resisting or arguing or justifying. It's just the door is open. And then you go, so now what? Well, then you listen deeper, right? Then you listen deeper. So what is it then? I know I don't want that. And now the door is open. So what do I want then? What is the yes that's waiting to come out now that I have opened the door? So that's where you start listening deeper again. And I know you've heard me talk about this in the heart's longing, what really makes your heart sing. What is the vision? What do you imagine is possible if you didn't believe in all these limiting beliefs? And then you go in. And then you may have something, like I've shared with you. For me, it's like, I see a world where we live in harmony within ourselves, with each other, and with the planet. Well, guess what my life is about? Very much about finding more and more harmony within myself and supporting others in doing the same, right? Because when I'm in harmony inside and you're in harmony inside, we're going to be in harmony when we're together. It's that simple. And then being in harmony with the earth. I'm doing what I can here where I live to really create beauty and grow healthy food and connect with my neighbors, start to create community around me. So we do this together. Why? Because that's what I want in my heart. That's what I long for. So that's what I say no to. So when I run into resistance, because sometimes it's been very hard to get people involved in doing this, yeah, it's easy to fall back. It's like, well, why even bother? Then you start resisting. Then I start resisting and arguing with myself. But that hardly ever happens again. And that was a phase I had to move through to get to the place where I don't argue with that anymore. So if it's not happening right away or the way that I want it, I just keep going back to my heart. I keep listening. And I just do a little check-in. It's like, okay, is it still here? Has it changed? And then sometimes I can see, yeah, it's changed a little bit. The direction is a little different. So I go that direction. But it's never gone away. It won't go away. And it can't go away because it's the new energy that wants to express itself. So let's celebrate that there is something in us that says no to something we know is not right. Whether it's working, whether it's at your work and you're working too hard, or there's something going on in there that's not right. Maybe, I can come up with all kinds of examples. Maybe everybody is using plastic bottles to drink from. And you know that these plastic bottles, they end up out in the ocean, or they end up out in nature, destroying our nature, destroying the ocean. So I feel very sensitive to that. Or people using plastic bags instead of just bringing your own bag. All these plastic bags end up out in nature, and they ruin nature. I was actually part of a cleanup thing here in the town that I live a few weeks ago, and I was out behind an area, and I was just cleaning up. If you knew how many plastic bags, partly disintegrated, that I found just all around in the soil. Sometimes a little bit was sticking out, so I was kind of digging to see what it was. Plastic bag, plastic bag, plastic bag. It's everywhere. It's shocking. And so what I do is go and clean it up. And whenever I can, I try to encourage people to bring their own bags. It can be little things, but they have an impact if we do it in a positive way, where it comes from a vision that has possibility for betterment. If we just go and tell people they're wrong and shouldn't do it, you see, that's resistance, right? That's just putting negative energy into something that doesn't work. But if you say no to this thing inside that you know it's not right, that let's just say everybody's using plastic bottles to for their water at work. Why don't you go to your boss or your superior, or just do a little introduction for everybody and say, guys, I use these glass bottles, or these whatever. There's so many other things you can use, and I just use my own. I fill it up. I have filtered water. And if there's anybody who would like support in that, let me know. Let's talk about it. You see, you open up a possibility for change, for betterment. And if you do it in that way, there will be people who will be interested. And then, little by little, you might see that more and more people are bringing in their glass bottles. Maybe not everyone, but eventually people will start thinking, gosh, I can do that. And everybody else is doing it. So I want to do it too, or they start being interested in why people are doing it, and they may not even know about all the pollution. So you can do a little education, you can maybe give them a website where they can read about it, or something so that you can educate them in a positive way, right? That's when you start listening to your no, and you're not resisting it, but you make it a constructive no. A real no that comes from the bottom of your being has an enormous power in it. And it's a power that can make change. It's an energy that can cut through the old system and pave way for the new. So let's celebrate when we feel a strong no in the body. And you can just pick one thing. You do not need to change the whole world, in case you think that. And I know the mind does think that sometimes. It feels too overwhelming. But what if you just did that little thing at work? where you instigated glass bottles instead of water bottles, or instead of plastic bottles. Just imagine if you could start a little change there. And then maybe they go home and maybe the whole family starts using glass bottles and stop buying plastic bottles. You see, it can be the smallest thing that seems so insignificant, but the thing is that it affects other people. There is something about making a change, and it's what I notice here, on my street where we are starting to grow vegetables. Not everybody is involved, but little by little people get curious, and I've been growing these big squashes that just came out of nowhere almost. So I'm sharing those with my neighbors, and then they get interested, right? And now we want to start composting, making better compost. And then people start a few of them get interested. So we get together, talk about it. But if I hadn't initiated that, it would not have happened, right? So there is an interest building, and there is more awareness about the GMO, that some of them were not aware of at all, but they went online and read about it and actually came back and shared some things that I didn't know about it. So just by me suggesting new, better things, because I say no to the old, people respond. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow. It doesn't always go fast, but sometimes it does, and it doesn't really matter. What matters is that I stay open to the no inside. Let that open the door so the yes can start creating something new, right? So it's the no is kind of a door opener or a wall, a barrier breaker or something, and all it does is break down the old, and then you are free, I'm free to create something new. So that's all about saying no, and it's a powerful, powerful tool, and we should not ignore it, especially as women. Exercise your no. Hang out with friends where you just play around saying no, so you start feeling more safe in saying no, I do it with my clients. Sometimes I have them say no, and sometimes it's very, very scary because it's never been okay to say no. So it's kind of getting more familiar and comfortable with listening to that no, that big no that wants to break through old barriers. If you want to learn more about it, I have this book called Imagine Being Kind to Yourself that you can buy on my website, lillarose.com, LILLAROSE.com. And there are there's a lot of insight in that book about how to listen. How to listen to yes, how to listen to a no. There are exercises in there how you can learn to do that better. And you can also check out my CD set, which is it's called 6 Simple Steps to Serenity, which is a 6 CD set where you can learn to listen again. It's a meditation and mindfulness CD set, but it's very practical. It's very much geared towards learning the language, learning how to say yes to what's true, learning how to say no to thoughts that are not supporting you. So there's a lot of good things that can support you. So I invite you to check that out. And of course, you're always welcome to sign up for one of my 30-minute free discovery sessions. And in those sessions, we do some exploration together to see, where you are in your life, what you need to break through, and what kind of support you need, and if we might be a good team to do that together, so I can support you in breaking through into the life that you came here for. So a lot of things to explore there, and thank you so much for being here with me today. It's lovely. I think this is a very powerful subject. And we might talk some more about it next week. Who knows? We'll see what comes up. In the meantime, I wish you all a beautiful day, and I look forward to being here with you again in a week. many
Cause we're
blessings.
awakened, you won't catch us sleeping through the fight. And like we're all eyes open, showing our inside and light so bright. We are awakened, come and join our love, it's so right. If you could feel what we feel now, you'd be a leader filled with might. Cause we're awakened.